I'm Maeve, today's Monday. Welcome to Euro Pocket News, where we will talk about the trading of arms, creative satellite dishes and the power of journalism. So let's go. Unacceptable human suffering, violations of human rights, armed conflict, instability, terrorism, bad governance and corruption are the consequences of irresponsible arms transfers. So last week the European Parliament came to a resolution on an arms trade treaty. In other words, the establishment of common international standards for the import, export and transfer of conventional weapons. The EU Code of Conduct on Arms Exports that was drafted in 1998 is not legally binding. So the United Nations is offering its assistance and agrees with the MEPs that advised that the EU Code of Conduct should become binding, that the EU should take responsibility as its members are among leading exporters, that the EU should respect arm embargoes, and that the EU should finally support the International Arms Treaty. The negotiations between the US, the EU, Brazil and India ended in chaos in Potsdam last week when Brazil and India got up and left the conference. "It was a useless discussion," exclaimed Indian Commerce Minister, as the usual fight over farm subsidies and open markets kept getting in the way, as neither the US nor the EU would agree to the cap on subsidies that the developing countries were seeking, that of $12 billion a year from the US and $20 billion from the EU. So our hopes for a global trade deal have been quenched for a while. The World Trade Organization remained confident, however, that it will be reached by the end of the year and would accelerate international trade to give poor countries better access to rich markets. A few months back we spoke about the European Commission's mission to persecute Google. In an attempt to protect our data, of course, they aim to stop the huge search engine from saving everything that we look up. Even when you write an email from Gmail, nosy Google reads it as well as the receiver, and on the right-hand side offers you a list of websites related to all the words that you've typed in your email. So Europe's putting its foot down and has decided to investigate all internet search engines. The EU has decided to scrutinise the privacy policies of all search engines and not just Google. The MEPs are currently drafting their plan and hopefully we will find out where all the details we enter are saved. If you want, do some research yourself on the topic, but watch out, because if you Google anything, Google knows exactly what. Do you have a satellite dish in your house or an apartment? If so, you probably agree that it's not the most attractive thing to have sticking out of your roof. That's what a Dutch artist thought last week when he gathered some youngsters in his area in Amsterdam to make over all the dishes and transformed it into Satellite City. While they made over one part of Amsterdam, 2,000 locals decorated the bridges of the historic canals when they posed naked on their bicycles to be photographed by US Spencer Tunick. The latter, famous for his photography of naked people, hit his record last month in Mexico when he snapped a group of 18,000 people in the nip. And finally, only 3 days left till 270 young journalists gather in the European Parliament to celebrate the first ever European Youth Media Days, organised by the European Youth Press with the aid of the European Parliament. A partner of the event, Europocket is attending too and is looking forward to meeting everyone there and participating in the event. If you want to virtually come with us, we have created a special blog for the Congress where we can add your input, your ideas, comments, criticism, and then all together we can help create the best type of media to define the future of Europe. Well, that's all for today. Have a good one and I'll see you tomorrow in Euro Pocket News. Bye.